Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pitch Talk. I am Jason, and today we are going to be talking about the lack of signings for the top three in the Premier League this season. First off, we will start with the champions, Manchester City. Manchester City brought in nobody this transfer window, or nobody worth mentioning, and have offloaded a phenomenal striker in Julian Alvarez for approximately 80 plus million. That is a huge transfer to go out. And based off of last season, Manchester City were extremely strong going forward with and without Erling Haaland. We all know Haaland as the robot, the machine, the phenomenon in the Premier League, Manchester City striker. But even Haaland, as strong as he is and as big as he is, he got injured last season and he was out for a significant time. And who stepped up for them was Julian Alvarez. He, I thought, was brilliant coming into the squad for Haaland. And although he did not score as many goals that you would like or compared to Erling, he contributed in other ways. He changed Manchester City's style of play up that I thought suited them way more than when Haaland's on the field. Alvarez was able to link up with the likes of Bernard Silva, Phil Foden, Grealish, Doku, De Bruyne, and they managed to play their passing game that they love to play. Whereas Haaland it's a much more directed approach, as in crosses, through balls over the top for Haaland to run onto. So for me, selling Alvarez and not replacing him is going to hurt Manchester City this season. The strategies of playing to Haaland's strength can only get you so far, and we saw that last season. Haaland struggled to score against some of the top teams like Arsenal, like Liverpool, and there's no guarantee that that strategy will work for a third season running. Don't get me wrong, Manchester City always find a way, and Haaland always finds a way. But I think the Premier League has now adapted to Erling Haaland and Manchester City's style of play. Their first season, Haaland was unbelievable, unmatched, one of the best individual seasons by a striker in the Premier League we've ever seen. Second season, brilliant, still clear 20 goals, but you saw the threat was a lot less. Haaland struggled in a lot of games and it wasn't there as much. That's why players like Phil Foden shone last season, because Haaland struggled, Phil Foden stepped up. No Alvarez, and replacing a player like Julian Alvarez is not easy. There's not many players that can match that caliber of style in the Premier League and or even in the world. So to replace a player like that is not easy. And I feel that with these 115 breaches that Manchester City have, they're slightly hesitant to go at now and spend. They are trying to even out everything by collecting a lot of money in and not spending. So for me, that's why I feel like Manchester City could really struggle this season. We didn't see a fantastic City against Man United in the Community Shield, although Man City didn't have a lot of their first team players, but neither did Manchester United. And I didn't see anything extravagant or exciting. For me, Manchester City not bringing in anybody is not a huge thing, because from the goalkeeper to the midfield, I think they're still perfect. I think there's very little that you can fault. Going forward, brilliant, but lacking that false nine, if you want to call him that, or that number 10 in certain situations in Julian Alvarez is going to make a big impact. Remember, City are playing a lot of games this season. They're competing in 4 competitions and competing at the top level in all those competitions. They're not just there, but they're there to win it. So they need the squad depth. So for me, Manchester City not bringing in somebody to replace Alvarez could potentially hurt them. We'll move over to Arsenal. Brilliant team. Defensively, midfield, everything about Arsenal, I think, is brilliant. I think Arsenal are the best team in the Premier League. I think they lack one thing, and that is an out-and-out striker. And you saw that in certain games last season where Arsenal just could not break them. Martinelli, Trossard, Havertz, Saka, Odegaard, they struggled in 1 or 2 games, and that's what cost them, was being able to score and actually win the game. Overall, their season was 95% perfect, and I felt that Arsenal deserved to win the league, and it was taken away from them, just like it was taken away from Liverpool. City always find a way. But They've now bolstered their defense even more on top of the Goliath defenders of Gabriel and Saliba. They brought in another defender just to make that defense even more strong. Fully secured David Raya. So Arsenal are in a good space defensively, but they still lack the striker. For me, I can't understand how they allowed their rivals, Tottenham, to sign Solanke and they didn't go for him. All right, Solanke's gone. Tottenham, brilliant signing there. You still have Isak from Newcastle. You still have Ollie Watkins. These strikers are phenomenal strikers, and I can't understand how Arsenal have not signed. Dish out 100 million, go win the Premier League, go compete in the Champions League. They are also competing in all 4 competitions to win it. They need the striker. They lack that. Havertz can only do so much. He's not a striker. And for me, that could be Arsenal's downfall yet again this season, is that they don't have a true number 9 that will score you 20 plus goals in the season. Like Manchester City have with Haaland, or like Liverpool have with the likes of Jota or Salah, more so Salah. You need an out-and-out player that will score you the 20 plus goals and can hold the ball up for you. That's what Manchester City have in Haaland, and that's why they win. That is why they win the trophies. That's why they did the treble, is because they have the star number 9. Arsenal need that number 9. Whatever it takes, sign him, because you will need him. Competing, the legs go eventually midway through the season, and you've got to find new ways of being able to break teams down. The same style of football doesn't work all season. You need the squad depth in order to change the style, in order for you to win the games. The difficult games. The games where they're scrappy and they don't look nice, but you get the job done. So for me, that's going to be Arsenal's downfall yet again this season. If they don't sign a number 9, I don't see them winning the Premier League. Next off to Liverpool. A lot of people are saying that Liverpool are on the decline after Jurgen Klopp left, after losing certain players like Joel Matip, Thiago, allowing these players to leave and not replacing them. Carvalho, that was a big loss to Liverpool, not replacing them. But I feel that Liverpool didn't require a whole lot of signings like Manchester United did, for example. Liverpool still have their core, in which it is Trent, Virgil van Dijk, Salah. These players are influential and huge. Alisson. This is what makes Liverpool, is these certain players with experience. I do agree Liverpool need 1 or 2 players to increase the squad depth, but overall I still think Liverpool have a very strong team to compete. There's a lot of different players that bring different styles of play. You have Darwin Núñez, who can play on the left wing or striker. His speed, he hurts defenders. Jota can play a false 9, the winger, the striker. You have Elliott to replace Salah on the right. You have Gakpo that can play. So Liverpool have a lot of different players that can really hurt teams. There's always a way to find a new structure with that team because of the amounts of players that they sit with. People are saying that Liverpool didn't have the squad depth or the experience to carry the league out fully. But last season was a transitional season for Liverpool. Liverpool overextended and I think overimpressed. They were not supposed to compete for the Premier League last season. 2 seasons prior, we lost the core of our midfield. We lost 1 or 2 centre-backs. We lost our attacking threat in the likes of Firmino, Fabinho. The list goes on. We lost so many players that were Jordan Henderson, our captain. So last season was the change, the transition with Szoboszlai, with McAllister. These players were brought in new, and Liverpool was just supposed to qualify for Champions League. They were not supposed to compete. That team that overextended and I thought were brilliant for majority of that season are now experienced in the Premier League, if they weren't already, and they now know how Liverpool play. So for me, Liverpool didn't need that many signings. They don't lack in so many areas. They have cover everywhere. We have the youngsters now to help in the defense, where we seem to concede every game. Whether it was Van Dijk and Gomez together, or Van Dijk and Konate, or Matip and Konate, whatever the pairing was, we always seem to concede. But now we have players like Van der Berg back. We have Kwanzaa, who's now stepped up. We have Conor Bradley. So we have so many different partnerships that we can put in the defense to go alongside the experience of Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate. So I think Liverpool are still in a very good space. I don't think the alarm bell should ring in because they haven't signed anyone. I think they do lack a number 6, and for some reason Liverpool cannot get it over the line for a proper number 6. It was Caicedo, it was Lavia, now it's Zubimendi. Liverpool struggled to sign that midfielder. I don't know why. They always seem to struggle to sign a big name, but then sign a small name and make him big. That works to a point, but if you want to win consecutive Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, and compete constantly, you need to be able to buy big names. So overall, guys, I think not a huge train smash for the likes of City and Liverpool. City, I do feel, need to replace Alvarez, or they will struggle this season with the amount of games. Arsenal, I can't see them winning it without a proper number 9 that will score the big goals. Liverpool, like I said, a lot of talent, a lot of players that can play in the same position, so there's depth. They lack a proper central defensive mid, a CDM and number 6. Until they can get that number 6 that can alternate with Wataru Endo, Liverpool will struggle too. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Who should Arsenal sign? Who is the number 9 for Arsenal? Who is the replacement for Alvarez at City? And who is going to come in and be that strong number 6 that Liverpool have lacked for years? Guys, let me know. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll check you guys soon. Ciao, guys.